Hi friends, we are back with the final chapter of Alvin Ho, chapter 17, Death by Volcano. After breakfast the next morning, and after I had forgotten to tell my mom about what had happened with the gang, do you remember what happened? I dashed over to Pinky's house as quickly as I could. Pinky was still in his pajamas watching cartoons. I was in my Firecracker Man outfit from head to toe. It was Saturday. The world needed saving, and there was no time to waste. But first, I tapped on his living room window. "I want a refund," I said when Pinky came to the door. "What refund?" asked Pinky. "The Hank Aaron rookie and the Carl Yastrominski." Still didn't say that right. "Rookie," I said, "but I want them back." "But I thought we were friends," said Pinky. I thought about it all night, in between reruns of alien babies crawling around inside my head. And this is what I thought. Playing with Pinky was not a good trade for the cards. "I don't like the things you do," I said. "Why not?" asked Pinky. "I'm just not talented in that way," I said. Pinky shrugged. "Yeah, you're right," he said. Then he went back into his house. When he came to the door again, he handed over the cards. The rookies were okay. There's a good reason why baseball cards are in plastic pockets. It keeps them dry in case of accidents. I breathed a sigh of relief. "You sure you want to do this?" Pinky asked. I nodded. I was very sure. "If I don't play with you, who will?" I shrugged. I didn't really know, but I knew I didn't want to play with him. Flea's house was on the way home. It is not on the way to everywhere like Jules's house, but it is on the way to some things, some of the time. And Flea was in her yard, swinging her arms wildly and kicking her peg leg and her regular leg equally wildly. "Ha!" she screamed, chopping her arms to the air. "Ha! Ha!" she chopped the other way. "Hi!" I said. "Ha!" said Flea, kicking the air behind her. "What you doing?" "Aggression for girls," said Flea. "Want to try? It's fun." I shrugged. "Okay." I squeezed through a loose board in the fence. Flea sliced her arm like a sword through the air. She added a kick to the side. It was fabulous. I sliced and kicked too. "Ha!" she screamed. "Ha ha ha!" I copied. "Ha ha!" We chopped and kicked until we were out of chops and kicks. After that, we went inside and watched the action movie with Botswan. He swam around like crazy during commercials, but he stayed fixed in one spot in his bowl during the action scenes, unblinking watching the movie. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. "I'll trade you a Carl Yastrominski rookie and a Joe DiMaggio rookie for your fish," I said, holding out the cards. "No way," said Flea. "How about the rookies and a piece of gum?" I reached into my back pocket, but the gum was not there. Then I remembered that I had traded it to Pinky long ago. "The fish is not for sale," said Flea. "He's family. Isn't that right, Botswan?" Botswan nodded. I swear to it. "Why, how now, putz," I began in a Shakespearean curse. Then I stopped myself. I cleared my throat. "I have something to say," I said. "Okay," said Flea. I looked around. I didn't really want to say it. It was something hard to say. It was much harder than cursing or insulting. "Can I try on your eye patch?" I asked. "Okay," said Flea. She pulled it off and pulled it on. I blinked. It was fantastic. Flea's good eye blinked too. Her other eye looked as soft as a baby's and stayed shut. "You're blind in that eye?" I asked. "Yep," said Flea. "How come?" I asked. "I come from a long line of pirates," said Flea. It was just as I'd thought. "Is that how you got your peg leg too?" I asked. "Yep," said Flea. I nodded, speechless. Then I gave Flea her eye patch back. "Was that what you wanted to say?" asked Flea. I shook my head. It wasn't at all what I had wanted to say, but now I had run out of other things to say, so I had to say it. I'm sorry I didn't stick up for you yesterday in math class and on the bus, I said. Flea blinked. Then she blinked again. I held my breath. Okay, she finally said, I forgive you. What a relief. So then I asked a question I'd been dying to ask. What's that in your backyard? Come on, she said, I'll show you. We hurried outside. And there, in Flea's backyard, in broad daylight, was a real live volcano. It was huge. It was made of mud and dirt and something called chicken wire, but there were no chickens, only wire. Flea poured a bucket of vinegar and some baking soda into the top, and lava bubbled out. It was a mess, and it was amazing. After the bubbling stopped, it kind of got quiet in the backyard. Flea looked at me, and I looked at Flea. What are you going to be for Halloween? I finally asked. A princess, said Flea. I'm always a princess. Oh, Flea. Oh, I said, I didn't like princesses. They are silly. Princesses make me sick. And just as I was about to say how much I hated princesses, I heard something else come out of my mouth. You'd make a good princess. Grow unsightly warts. How did I say that? Thank you, said Flea. What are you going to be? A gentleman, I said. Oh, said Flea. I grew kind of quiet again. Then she remembered her manners. You'd make a good one, she said. Thanks, I said. Then we poured more vinegar and baking soda into the volcano. Lava bubbled out like crazy. Death by volcano! I screamed, leaping and jumping over the foamy lava. Urgh, roared Flea, leaping and jumping like crazy too. There were plastic Minutemen and redcoats and trucks and motorcycles and packs of ferocious Tyrannosaurus and a flock of velociraptors that we had to save, so we did. It took all afternoon, but we saved them all. After we finished, Flea brought out her book, the Book of Alvin. She drew Firecracker Man saving the world from death and destruction on the side of the volcano. It was really super duper. Do you think we can do this again sometime? I asked. Sure, said Flea. Anytime. Anytime. It sounded like something friends say to each other. And I blasted off toward home. Alvin, said my mother when Firecracker Man blasted into the kitchen. Uh-oh. The look on her face was not so great. Did you put a baseball through the neighbor's window? What baseball? I asked innocently. Not I. It was in her sink, said my dad, and it had your name on it, son. I love it when he calls me that. Usually. Poor Alvin. Do you think he made the right choice to become friends with Flea and not hang out so much with Pinky? I think so. I hope you enjoyed that one. Stella is ready for dinner.